friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Diana. I am a soul coach and Reiki master. This episode is going to be centered around the lessons that I am learning as a business owner, taking my business from a hobby to accepting that it is my calling and running it as a business, being very structured in my approach to that. I guess I want to begin with sharing like how far I am on the journey and where I am headed with that. I began my practice about 3 years ago, and it took me about 3 months after what I would consider like my spiritual awakening to really get going on that journey, intentionally, I should say. Mom life. I began as, you know, I felt I had this just very strong sense that I could heal with my hands, and I didn't really know how to express that. I didn't know what that meant, what I was going to be doing with that. There was a lot of Googling during this time for me of trying to figure out what this was. Initially, it really guided me towards Reiki, and that's where I got started, just by following that intuitive nudge into taking 1-2 and then going on to become a Reiki master. I did that for about a year until I felt like it was time for me to certify as a soul coach. It was actually almost exactly to the year when I started with soul coaching and certifying for that. I know this is what I am called to do, but there was a lot of like internal stuff that I had to work through. I think that what we are being called to bring here is outside of that box. It is accepting that we can do many, many things, and it does not have to, it's not valid only if we're going about it a certain way. And in that process, or really like accepting the sovereignty that comes with saying, this is my calling, this is what I am here to do, and I'm going to do this with all of the tools that I've been given. And as I keep going along my journey, if I am called to further my education or whatever the case may be, like I will rise to meet that when the time is right. However, for me right now, I feel like I already have all the tools necessary to be serious in my business. And I'm recognizing that a big part of me not seeing that previously was that I just wasn't taking myself seriously, and I lacked the confidence that I needed to get it done. It's a very curious thing to feel and recognize when the divine, our creator, has spoken to you and said, this is what I need of you. This is what you're here to do. And you're free to express that however you would like to, but overall, this is what you have been called to do here. To recognize that calling, and also recognize all of the excuses that come up. So I am now in a state of acceptance, of surrender. I'm going to use everything that I've been given now. It's funny because there's many turns on that cycle in and of itself of recognizing your power and walking in it somewhat, and then the excuses kind of start to stack up and you start putting it aside and you get lazy, you lose motivation, all of those things. So from this space that I'm sitting in now, I am at the beginning of a rebrand. All of this is going live the first week of October. We've been working, and I say we, myself and my brand manager, Kelly Hope. She does all of my graphic design work. She has been my #1 supporter in this and has just been dreaming with me this whole time, you know, actually for about the last, a little over a year. The brand that we're working on is basically like Diana La Diosa and Diana draws it put together. If you've been around for any length of time, like Diana La Diosa was the original Instagram handle that I had, and that was like the lifestyle that I was working in at the beginning of my spiritual journey. I had a kind of turn at the end of last year where I was like, you know what, maybe the approach that I'm taking is not right, and I just want to be myself for a little bit. I don't want to feel this pressure of trying to help people. I kind of got myself stuck in my journey because I had to step away from the codependence of being the one to help other people. And although it might have been confusing, I think, for my audience on a personal aspect, it was really necessary for me to detach from that so that I could heal that codependence, because as I'm standing now, there is no need for me to attach my worth to my clients. The work speaks for itself. Therefore, I don't have to personally be so attached to it, because I can only provide value to a certain extent, and people have to be willing to say, like, I see this value, I'm going to take it and integrate it because it mirrors a part of myself that speaks true to. I've kind of come to this place now where I'm like, okay, what are the type of clients that I want to attract? I want to attract the kind of people that are really willing to put in the work for themselves, that are willing to invest in themselves. So big picture, I have a lot of dreams for this new brand, for this business. Foundational level, this business is built on self-healing. It is built on self-recognition, learning to speak and act on the language of our souls. That's the root of it. And it's not just the root of the business, like that's the root of me. Like that's what I am about. That's all I'm really interested in, is getting to know myself, and not even from like an arrogant or conceited perspective. It is simply an understanding that I have so much more potential that I haven't yet acted on, and that simply will not do. If it was not my time to go in the past, where I have really just wanted to quit and give up on life, and that never was successful, then there must be something in this life that I have to fulfill. There's a reason why I'm still here, and I am here, and I will find out. It's not in sitting and wallowing in self-pity. It's not in talking down to myself. It's not in shopping. It's not in all of those codependent relationships or behaviors that I've had that just do not get me closer to that financial freedom, to that personal freedom, to the traveling, to the presence with my family, to the presence with myself, to my creator. And therefore, I am on one very exciting treasure hunt. And I believe that a lot of people are there too. And I am looking forward to being there side by side with them as they're on their own treasure hunt. I'm just excited about life today. And I think it's really important to talk about, like, why are you getting started on this? Like, why? I struggled with that a lot myself, and thinking like, I don't have any reason to do this. I could just stay at home and just be a stay-at-home wife, and that would be enough. I mean, I could tell myself that that would be enough. I would keep hearing that calling, just like Elsa. But it's not enough, because it's not all that I'm capable of doing. It's enough in and of itself, absolutely. I love homeschooling. I love being with my children every day. I did not give birth to them to not get to enjoy their lives and watch them grow. That is not all I am here to do. It goes back to having to really be aware and protective and nourishing of my energy, so that I have the energy to do everything that I came here to do. All right, friends. Well, that's all for today's video. I really appreciate you sitting here and listening. This poor cat. He's probably like, thank you for... I appreciate you listening and watching this video. If this inspired anything in you, or, you know, just suffice to say that, you know, for those of you who are also figuring out how the heck to grow this generational wealth, how to get started on that journey where, like, we haven't really been shown how to do this, how to open a business, start a business, practice, like where your mindset has to be, like the attention to detail, the social media aspect, the behind the scenes of planning, and all of these, like I have tons of things written over here that I'm like, I have to check off. Like these are my goals, my to-do list, launching programs. Like how the heck am I, you know, what am I doing with that? What do I have to research to get all these things done? It's a lot and it takes a lot of energy, and we have to take care of ourselves if we want all of that to happen. You know, maybe we didn't have people in our lives who know anything about this, and so we're the ones that are basically like generation one for starting the business. And I hope that you don't feel alone in that process. I hope that we can ask each other questions really and relay back information. What's working, what's not working, what are you doing, like what have you learned? Connecting as a community on multiple levels. You know, what is inspiring you? What is helping you grow? What are you growing? How do you feel? What's your perspective on life? Many, many things. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I have to admit that like about 80-20, I don't know what I'm doing, but the 20 being my discipline, my willpower, and my like go pass from the divine creator of saying like, yeah, you got to go for it. Like we're all behind you. So we're going to learn all of that 80%, and it might not always be easy. We'll see. We're in it.